Hi YouTube. I just want to show you this little step here. There's a few videos out there that show this process. You might Google it, look at some of the videos. It's relatively simple, straightforward. This is a rotor. I went ahead and desalted it to do all that rust back in there. There's salt all through this rotor. Well, not anymore. I already washed it, rinsed it, got all the salt away. I sprayed it with brake parts cleaner. So this, even though it looks smudgy, it's actually clean now. And I'm gonna wipe it down with some acetone once it's installed. But I wanted to spray this thing with that rust inhibitor, or brush it on, get it all in there to prevent the rust from eating away at this rotor. I wish I could get it in here, but it's gonna be pretty impossible. Eventually I'll get the slotted and perforated rotors for this down the road eventually, but all this I want to treat before I put everything back. The bearings are already packed with grease. I put the new seal. It's ready to install and push it in there, but I want to, just make sure it's done right. I did have to go rent a socket tool for this big nut, the big spindle nut that goes here, which is that one. And I had to rent that socket, which grabs the nut, and lets you torque it. This is a part number from AutoZone. Well, you actually buy it, and then once you're done with it, you clean it up and go return it, and they give you your money back. So that's pretty cool, AutoZone. I wish they would sponsor my videos, but anyways. So yeah, so there's a method to the madness. You need a torque wrench set at 47 psi or foot-pounds, so that you can set the bearings as far in as they need to go on the race. And then you loosen it, you spin it. Well, actually, once you tighten it to 47, you spin the hub a couple times just to get the rollers and the grease all settled in there. And then what you do is you loosen the nut just to where it's like hand tight or hand loose. And then you spin it another couple times in the same direction. So if you go clockwise, you got to spin it clockwise again. And don't go backwards, just go in the same direction. And then what you do is you tighten it again to 47. Okay, just to reset it and have all the grease in there, doing what it's supposed to. And then once it's set at 47, you spin it another couple times. And then you're gonna release it to where it's hand tight again. And then you're going to torque it one more time to 26 foot-pounds. At 26 foot-pounds, it should give you a measurement on the lateral rotation. If you got one of these little scales, you put it on one of those studs and then pull it perpendicular in the rotation, and it should give you anywhere from 9 to 14 pounds of there's a word for that measurement. It's the rotation force, or whatever it's called, lateral force or something like that. But anyways, it needs to be around 9 to 14, and that's basically the tension on this hub. 9 to 14 pounds of resistance, and the bearings will be set in there. Everything's nice and packed. Once you get it to that measurement, I would go like between 9 and 14, like maybe around 11 or 12 pounds on this little scale of rotation, and that should be about the happy medium, the halfway point between 9 and 14. But anyway, so once you get that, that's it. It's in there. Then you can put in the little washer that has the little tabs that you bend. So you're going to bend 2 of them down to hold that nut, and then on top of that tab washer, you're going to put another spindle nut on top of that. And that one, the second outer nut, that one needs to be torqued at 47. The inner one is at 26. The outer one is at 47. And once you have it torqued, everything's nice and tight and squished in there. The tab washer will be folded down. 2 of the tabs, 2 of them will be folded downward, tapped a little bit to hold the inner nut. And then the other 2 tabs on that washer will be folded out to hold the second nut. And I'll show you a picture. I'll take a snapshot once it's all put back together. I can't do it and show you the film because this is a two-handed kind of job. I don't want to mess up the seal, so it needs to be wiggled in there nice and perfect. And once it's all said and done, it's according to specs, factory Toyota specs. And then you can do the other side and set it up exactly the same way so that they're both exactly equal with the same torques, the same measurements, everything. So that's a critical process. It's a little tedious, but it's involving. You just have to have that socket, some grease, good light, torque wrench, and some patience. So far, I've done all this work on this truck up to this point. It's taken me like maybe 2 or 3 weeks up to now. Just in spurts, working little by little, an hour here, a couple hours there. And I have yet to cuss. I haven't cussed the truck out. I haven't cussed God. I haven't cussed at anybody. It's frustrating, but you can't let it make you get to that point where you just like, you get all frustrated. If you do, you're doing something wrong. And maybe you don't have the right tools or you don't have enough patience. But you shouldn't get to that point. Just enjoy the moment, do your mechanic work, think everything through, process. It's a process, man. There's a madness to the process. You need to stay somewhat organized, clean. You go through a lot of rags. You do a lot of sweeping and cleaning and mopping and everything else. There's some brake cleaner there. I bought some of this anti-seize for the caliper bolts and any other bolts that I need to protect. These spindles here are going to require some of that anti-seize once I put them in there. The castle nuts and all that. But anyways, just want to show you that. I'm going to be doing that today. Once I'm done in a few hours, I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, but right now this hub is looking nice. And I had put it on yesterday, but I went ahead and took it off because I didn't have that socket, and then I hadn't really treated the inside of this hub with that Corosil stuff, so I didn't want to just put it on like this. I mean, I'm treating the whole truck with anti-rust. Oh, and let me show you. So this here's another really neat product that I found at Lowe's. Lowe's has it, of all places. The auto stores have a similar product, but this one's like more affordable and it does the job. And it's an aerosol spray can made by Rust-Oleum. So these people have been around for years. They know rust. So this is actually a reformer, just like that Corosil I've been using, except this is like in a spray can, and it'll convert the rust to iron phosphate, just like the Corosil does, and it turns it black. It goes from rusty to black, and it's ready to paint. It's paintable. So you just like this stuff, you just like shoot it on there, and you don't have to brush it. You don't brush it like the Corroseal. And actually the Corroseal, you can put in a spray bottle and spray it as well. But I like this stuff. This stuff is like super easy, convenient, nice, and it's for those hard to get areas. Look at that. There it is. And that's the Corroseal. And I may or may not paint it. I just wanted to put something on this rust back here. And then on this one as well. And it just converts the rust into that phosphate stuff. Look at that. I was able to get it in here somewhat. Wow. That's pretty neat. Try not to get it on the threads too much. Sorry about the video. Wow. And then once I clean this with acetone and some more brake cleaner, all this will be nice and shiny, ready for the rotors. I mean for the pads. But look at that, that's awesome. This thing looks like brand new. And it should never rust again. At least not the way it was. Wow. Thanks, Rust-Oleum. You saved the day. Nice. I'll just rotate it, do the bottom side, but rather than be down here, I'm just gonna rotate it on the hook and do it from the other angle. But yeah, I'll show you once it's all done. So remember, 57, turn it, loosen it, spin it, retorque it, 47 again, loosen it, spin it, retorque it, 26, and then measure the lateral rotating force with a scale and get it between 9 and 14. And it's it. And then put everything back, put the little spindles, the little cone bearings, and this cap that goes here and everything else. And then the rotor, the caliper for the brakes, and you're done. Bingo. All right, hope this helps. Take your time. Talk to you later. Good morning, folks. Another little update here on the Land Cruiser. I don't know what part this is or what episode, but it's still the continuing saga. And just want to let you know where I am. So the radiator that came in damaged, and I'm trying to coordinate with the shipper and the vendor to send me another one. But anyways, that can't go in just yet. The rack and pinion is still out. It's over here in the box, brand new. What I did was I finished the two wheels, the two front wheels. I already put the tires, wheels back on. All that is all complete, finished, painted, ready to go. And the reason I put the tires back on was to lower the truck eventually, and just to have the tires on in case anything happens or whatever. You know, it's got its tires. It's not gonna crush me down there. Not that I'm not moving the truck or wiggling it or whatever. It's pretty stable. Uh, what I did do was started on the back, and these little jack stands, even though they're like 2 ton, 3 ton, something like that, they're pretty sturdy. And I had these four suspending the front, and it's still on those two front ones there. But anyways, you want to make sure that this whole thing is stable. And I went and bought these bigger jack stands. These are 6 ton, heavy duty. They're like for bigger trucks or whatever. But I wanted some good stands because I went ahead and started picking at the rear end. You can see all the rust on the floor. A lot of it is rust, dirt, mud, salt, a little bit of everything. And I'm just starting to pick at the rear, take the wheels off. I need to try and take this rear bumper off, just like I did in the front. But in order to do that, I need to take this hitch assembly off there, and which is what I wanted to do anyways, to clean that whole area and maybe even replace that hitch. But anyway, so I'm just kind of picking at it. This is my latest update. The front, like I said, is done, ready to roll, with the exception of, you know, the rack and pinion needs to be put in, which will slide in just the same way this one came out. Nice and easy. You gotta zigzag it to the right, and then to the left, and then to the right till you get it out. And the new one will go in just the same. I'll show you that step when we get to it. But this measurement right here from tie rod end to tie rod end essentially is the measurement, the original one. So the new one has to have that same measurement. Got the new headlights in the box. These are the older ones. I'm going to try and clean them up and just save them, keep them, put them in a box just in case. All this stuff needs to be cleaned with salt away. So it's coming along. It's been a lengthy project, working in spurts. Today's December 29th. It's a Sunday morning. So I thought I'd start, you know, advancing, picking at it. What else was I going to say? So I figured I need to scrape away at some of this stuff, because eventually I want to like just bring the truck down to the ground, put all four wheels on it, and push it out of here so that I can get under there and pressure wash the whole truck with salt away. So that still needs to be done. And then once I do that, I'll bring it back in here, lift it, take the wheels back off again, and pick at it some more, and then put the curl seal on it, and then paint it, whatever needs to be painted and curl sealed. There is some serious cancer on on both sides of this very rear part of the quarter panel here, where it kind of loops around like this, and you know, it's part of that panel, but the metal down in here, all this metal right here is gone. You can see my hands right here where it's just flaking off. So all this will probably get treated, and then I'm gonna see if I can put some kind of sheet metal right here to kind of protect this quarter panel area here. And then good thing this splash mud flap really helps. But you know, other than that, it's salvageable. It's not too bad. A lot of this is that same rubber coating stuff that somebody sprayed on here. It's all encrusted. This is all rubber coating, and that's a bad idea, man. Don't ever rubber coat your undercarriage without prepping the metal underneath first. They should have washed this thing with salt away, given it a good wash, and then maybe put some of that rubber coating on some of these components. But the rubber coating mainly goes here on the well. This is all rubber coating from the factory. Once you start putting rubber coating on all this other stuff, oh man, it's a bad idea. It doesn't need it. Over there, you're supposed to treat it with Corroseal or something different, or that wool wax or something, but not rubber. The rubber goes up here. So anyways, I'll give you another update. I'm going to take these hubs off and check the brakes and all that stuff. So we'll be doing all that and then picking at it. Continue to pick at all this crust. A lot of this, like I said, it's rust, and then it's also that rubber stuff that's just flaking off. Okay, I'll give you another update later. Y'all take care. Have fun.